Hi, this is Aaron Valley with my Basic Finance and Facilities Management Field Experience presentation. I just want to take a moment to thank you for allowing me to take this video clip so that I can be in Cuba with my cross-country team. Right now it's Sunday evening, but by allowing me to do this, I will get to be in Cuba racing with my cross-country teams. Thank you very much. So the Basic Finance and Facilities Management Field Experience was conducted in Kingston K-14 School District. Kingston K-14 lies on Highway 21, halfway between Potosi and DeSoto, and halfway between Bonne Terre and St. Clair on Highway 47. The central office is located along with the high school and the elementary school on the same campus. There are about 780 students enrolled, 380 of which of those are in grades 6 through 12. Mr. Bryce Wilson is the principal, Mr. Levi Rawson is the assistant. About 3% of those students are minority students, and about 25% are IEP students. Actually a little more than 25%. In some of the lower grades it's up to 40%. 50% of the families or more earn less than $30,000 per year, which qualifies all the students in the school district for a free meals community grant I'll speak more of later. Last year there was about $9.8 million expenditure, and what that equates to is about $9,600 per student, which is slightly lower than the state average. So my experiences in this secondary school accumulated to about more than 16 hours of observations and personal interviews all over the campus. The observations occurred everywhere from the baseball field to the gymnasium, the lunchroom, the boardroom, the parking lots, and all of the student areas. And what I did in those observations was observe the different activities and supervise students. And there were also a number of personal interviews I conducted with the superintendent, the principal, the food service director, the maintenance director, custodial director, and the transportation director. The lessons learned that I picked up in these observations and interviews were numerous. First off, with the principal, I learned that the building level administrators really don't have a whole lot of influence on the budget in the district. Essentially, all of the budgeting is done in the central office, and the building level administrators are in a needs recognition kind of mode. So they identify the needs and prioritize those needs, forward them to the central office, and the central office superintendent and accountants do the budgeting. From the superintendent, I learned that budgeting and politics are really intertwined and can't be separated. Dollars budgeted equals dollars asked of voters. So it's important not to change the dollars asked of the voters. It's important to keep the debt service maxed so that the tax rate doesn't change, and it's important to be on good relations with the voters in the community so that whenever it comes time to ask for a bond, there isn't an issue with that. When interviewing the food service supervisor, learned a couple of things about initiative and creativity. First, being initiative, that there is money available for things such as the community service grant so that students receive free breakfast, lunch, and dinner with federal money. However, it really took initiative to go out and seek that money, to write the grant, and to get it approved. But because that did happen, all the students are enjoying free meals as a result. And also because of creativity, the meals are enjoyed as well. The new federal guidelines for food quality put a premium on vegetables and whole grains. So to find foods and menu items that meet the criteria of vegetables and whole grains, affordability, and also liked and enjoyed and eaten by the students, it takes a lot of creativity. Essentially, it takes a lot of raisins, applesauce, and cheese to get all those foods eaten and enjoyed by the students. From the transportation department, I learned the importance of human resource planning. particularly for long-term sustainability of the workforce. There's been a trend in the district that the bus fleet is aging and the warranties on those buses are expiring. However, there's only a single mechanic to take care of those buses, and all of the bus driver workforce is unable to assist that single mechanic to take care of those buses. So perhaps better planning would have allowed some of those bus drivers to assist that single mechanic taking care of those aging buses. From the maintenance supervisor, I learned about some of the manpower or man-hour intensive tasks that affect the ability to prioritize other maintenance duties effectively. Essentially, the district has a lot of grass that needs to be mown, and the maintenance staff takes care of that grass mowing, that lawn mowing. But even on a riding lawnmower, it's a number of hours that could be devoted to higher priority maintenance efforts. But unfortunately, there probably are ways to find efficiencies in that process. The same applies with the custodian force. There are some very man-hour intensive tasks, such as buffing the floors. We have a very rural community, and the kids wearing boots and cowboy boots quite often, leaving a lot of black streaks on the floor. So the custodians find themselves doing a great number of hours of buffing the floors and getting the black marks out of the floors, and perhaps not as many hours sanitizing desks, water fountains, restrooms, and the like. So the man-hour dilemma is something that's real, and perhaps there are efficiencies to be found in that regard. The overall lesson learned from this field experience, the reflection is that a high caliber school can only be made inside the classroom, but it can be unmade in a great number of these different support areas. If any of these support areas don't function at 100% all of the time, then the proper environment is not going to be conducive for a good learning academic environment. So some examples of things that could go poorly would be poor budgeting and priorities, and hostile relations with voters that would lead to inadequate funding for the things that need to be funded most, or inadequate human resources practices, which leads to holes in the workforce, with the example that I gave being the bus fleet or the bus force. Ineffective extracurricular activities can demotivate students. Losing sports programs or dances that don't quite attract the students to perform and to have fun in an extracurricular manner all leads to dysfunctional programs that affect the morale of the students. Poor food nutrition or poor food taste can negatively affect the students. Dirty or malfunctioning facilities as a result of poor planning for man hours and tasks that need to be prioritized for the custodians and the maintenance workers. So those are a number of examples that have to be tracked continuously by the administrator. So the administrator needs a high degree of involvement, organization, and initiative to continuously be involved in inspecting these various support programs to ensure that they are going to set a proper tone for a functional academic environment. Quality control is the name of the game for the administrator, and there really is very little room for error. The administrator is going to have to be on top of these functions continuously. That was my field experience presentation. Those are the lessons that I've learned and I'm going to take away. Perhaps I'm going to be a little more demanding than I was previously before this class. So I absolutely did learn a lot. I appreciate the opportunity for being able to record this and be in Cuba, and I look forward to seeing you all again 7 days from now. Thank you very much.